Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me, which are, a variety of charts because I've gotten a good amount of requests. And yeah, happy Sunday. I do ticker requests live every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Happy to take ticker requests and go over the charts here. And I did just get 2 in the live chat, so I'll prioritize those and then go over some of the other ones that I've seen in the comments or take, more requests. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend. My weekend is really just starting. So, cheers. And I will add Polestar as well. All right, and so the ones, I'm going to go in order that I've received them in the live chat. And so the first one is FSLY. Then I will go over Rivian and then Polestar and then, whatever else. And also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Roaring Kitty posted for the first time on Twitter in like 3 years. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know if that means some things are changing. That's pretty exciting to see that. So yeah, I don't know where to begin with this. This is pretty crazy. This big drop, 863 from up here. Let's see. So, maybe I want to switch this to the weekly time frame. Cheers everybody. I'm gonna cheers again. I'm seeing the comments now. I usually pour that in a glass so it's not so obvious, but I last minute was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. I was planning on just drinking water, but I just got done with work, so gotta enjoy myself. But yeah, FSLY. Okay, here. Okay, yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, are there any trend lines from the past that might be support? But I really just feel like if I switch over to the daily time frame. Let's see. Okay, so here is a retracement that looks like I added the 1618 to it. That's at 608 from, the lows over here up to the highs. Maybe I could do, a retracement from here up to the top. And maybe I think that would actually just put it lower because it's about the same range. Let's see, those are just approximate. I gotta add it, I guess. See, that puts it even lower. Okay, so another option, I'm gonna delete that. Let's see, I don't find this one to be that useful. I think that 715, which is the low over here, more likely to be useful if I throw up the volume profile. Current price is, I think partly, there's a volume shelf because price is right there and it has resided there for a few days, at least a week, but also because of the consolidation over here. So it could very well be at support, and I would think that 715, maybe price wicks below that, but as long as there are no closes below 715, I think this is at the bottom. If it closes below 715, then it's like, who knows how low it could go. Maybe it's going all the way lower. Let's see. Just trying to think. Do I see any like divergence or anything? It says lower. Yeah, no, I don't see any divergence. So I was thinking I could do a retracement from, let's see, I'm going to delete this one as well. I could do, a retracement from there and see where the 618 lands. And I am actually going to shift this here so I have the highs and lows marks. This is 1602, which I'm not going to be able to get just right. And then 2587. So it's approximate, but all right. So current price is below the 1618. What about the 2618? Probably that's well below. Yeah, so. But yeah, I would just think that, okay, maybe this is something over here. 732, still below current price. Man, sometimes this doesn't go exact, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, so there's that. Let's see where those are relative to price. So lows over here around 850. So I'm going to adjust this. So the low here, 812, low here, 828. But yeah, I just think that I feel like from the low here, that's probably a good point to pay attention to. 828. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it could be at support. And also, while I don't think it looks great that it came down a bunch and then consolidated, it did have, this day that after it had come down, so this is down 32% on the day. But during market hours, it went up and then consolidated. So let's see. So I would think that number one, maybe it's holding this level around 828 from that past level I had just shown that prior low. And then let's see, $7.83. The low here, don't want to see any closes below that. If there are closes below it, then I would think the next line is really like 715. Don't want to see any closes below that prior low. And yeah, I don't think this other white line is really that significant. But here, I mean, you can just see like, originally touched that level, then bounced off of it, broke through, but then consolidated right around it, went up, came back down, tested it as support, broke through it again, and then kind of like formed this bull flag right around it, and then went higher. So yeah, I think 820, what is that level? 828. What was the open on Thursday? 828. So yeah, I'd pay attention to that. Hopefully that's respected and it can start to go up. No closes below 783. If there is a close below that, then maybe there's a wick below 715. That could be a great opportunity. But if there's a close below 17, then it's just like, falling knife. Who knows how low it's going to go. So, yeah, I think that it has been holding up, and it does seem like that this is a level to be paying attention to. So it could be at the bottom. And then the next one, I think, is Rivian. And then also Jose. I see there's a stupid heart emoji that always blocks stuff. And so, yeah, I'll add Mullen as well. I'm just going to delete Fastly since I've gone over it. And the next one is Rivian. And so, got that right here. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Earnings were on the 7th, so that was, I don't know if it was pre-market or after hours. I had to work that day. But that was Tuesday, I guess. Is that right? Yeah, it'll be Tuesday. And so, let's see. It started up pretty high. I guess it probably would have been pre-market. And yeah, so more or less flat on the day. Came down 0.77%. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of indecision there. And throwing up the volume profile. Yeah, so I think like this level, the high from the 7th, $11.22, that seems like it's a pretty important level, just considering that it does correspond with, all of this consolidation. Price couldn't get above that. So I think it'd be pretty important to be seeing it close above 722. If there are wicks above it, that's just people are selling up there. And so, yeah, I think that's an important level to get above. I have this purple line here, which I feel like I was probably suggesting this was head and shoulders, or that it might be one. And so if that's the case, let's just see if this move has played out. Measured move from the neckline. Now, I think that would be putting price at like 745 and the low was 826. So, I think there's a possibility that could still play out to the downside. But I think that this looks pretty encouraging. Although it did close below $10, it closed below 10.05, which was this prior low. So maybe that's not so good. And thinking about this, let's see. So if I do a retracement from up here, that would suggest where the top might be. And so that retraced up to the 50% level. So that does make sense there. And then if I do retracement from the bottom here up to the top, and so that's 1122. Gonna be a penny off, but oh well. Yeah, so it wicked down to the 618, but then closed above the 382. Now it's currently below the 382, corresponding with that prior low and $10 a share. So hopefully it can get back above the 236. That'd be like 250, or sorry, 1050, or like 1055. That would be good. I think the 1055, that's kind of arbitrary. That's really just based on the pivot lows over here. And so just closing above 1050, I think it would be nice that it's reclaiming these levels. But if not, 973 or 75 will be the next one to hold. But yeah, it already retraced to the 618. And then from that retracement, a green candle, well, it's basically flat on the day relative to the previous day's close. This is a green candle followed by consolidation. So maybe that's a bull flag. But, it could be, since it is like, a red candle on Friday down 2.25%, it's possible that could be fading. And also it closed below the low from the previous day. So it's not looking too great in that respect. But I would say give it a couple more days and hopefully it could still hold the like $10 level. And if it does, I think that's a bull flag and this could be going higher to like 1050, reclaiming that and like stepping up. But yeah, so basically from this, retrace to the 618 and then it's just hopefully going to retrace or take steps up and then maybe get a run for 1168. Let's see, what's that based on? It's based on a low that's from over here. I feel like $12, it's just a round number, so maybe that makes sense. But yeah, but this also could go lower. Like I think I had 745 up there as a level from, I'm not sure what it was from. Oh yeah, 645. That seems a little extreme. But yeah, maybe it could come down to 8, but I think right now it's holding, so looks good. Yeah, and I should note, I guess, I previously had some Rivian, but I put a few stocks, set stop losses on them, and this is one that got filled. And, I did save myself some money from it going down here, but at the same time, it looks like it's going up, and I'm not going to chase it, but it's one that I'd like to hold, but I just can't spread myself too thin. But yeah, I think it looks good. I feel like I'm going to look back and think I missed out. And then the next one is Polestar. And so this one, I think it's good that it's holding this level, $1.26. Let's see. That's just based on the lows over here, consolidation there. Although this is a pretty bearish engulfing candle, and this, I could pull it up and show you guys, but this looks like it's a falling three methods where you have like a big red candle, green candle stepping up, and then a big red candle that engulfs the prior candles. And this engulfs the past 4 trading days, so pretty much the entire week of last week. So this is, yes, this was Monday. And so it engulfs not only, wow, yeah, not only engulfed like the candles, but basically all of the trading from the past week, down 5.22% on Friday. But I do think it's good it's holding this level. It is below this low here, $1.30, so maybe that's significant. But yeah, I could pull up a falling 3 methods if you guys like. Let's see. Falling 3 methods. Yes, this is it's a bearish 5 candle continuation pattern. So it's like a big, I guess I can click on that. Big red candle, 3 green candles going up, and then a red candle coming down. And so that's kind of what this looks like. It's not perfect, but so that would suggest a continuation to the downside. But I had just seen something like this, but a rising 3 method. So just like the opposite, that would suggest a bullish continuation with plug. But I believe it was plug, but it doesn't seem like it happened because it, had a big green candle, but then the next day it was red. So, it's holding $1.26. So hopefully like tomorrow on Monday, you can get a close above $1.30. I think that would be really good. Otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty big bearish engulfing candle, but maybe that move's played out. I just look for a close below $1.26. But yeah, so far that hasn't happened. So, and hey, what's up? I see a lot more in the live chat that I missed. So let's see. And so hopefully that's helpful with Polestar. And one thing that I've started doing, or I've tried to be better at, is I keep track of all of the videos that I put out and how many views that they get. And so like basically every week I refresh the list with the one that performed the best at the top, and I just try to work my way down it. And so hopefully I'll be able to get to Polestar and Rivian this week to get a video out on them. And it's, like hit or miss. Sometimes some stocks do really well, others they don't. Let's see. And I thought I saw something on NVAX. Yeah, WS. There's somebody who joins sometimes. I believe his name's Ricardo, and he was holding NVAX and swung it for, I think, 140%. He commented on something, and yeah, so it's pretty epic. So I'll definitely cover that, and I'm just going to throw up. Oh, and I do have Mullen to go over still, but I'm going to throw up here Polyswarm. Hey, More Money, what's up? NCT. Is that, I don't know what Polyswarm is. NCT. Yeah, so let me know what the ticker is, because I maybe I could just search Polyswarm. Or is that a cryptocurrency? Let's see. It was after market. Let's see. It was after, the earnings call for, let's see, Rivian, I believe, yeah. And let's see. Yep. Good evening, WS. I'll look up LIDR or LIDR. Is that a LIDR company? And NVAX. Oops. And TME. They got earnings coming up. I think it's tomorrow, isn't it, right? Oh, wait. Oh, I was thinking of something else. Yeah, I was thinking of 10-cent music. There's a stupid heart emoji. I think that's probably an F, but yes, not an E. Cool, yeah, I'll look those up. But first, I'm going to go over Mullen because that was requested first. And so here does look like it's broken out of this. But with all of these reverse splits that are like pretty big, I feel like it's risky. So I'm not in it. I've avoided it. But let's see. Yeah, maybe this is a double top, and you know, for me, my analysis will be probably bearish, biased to the bearish side, and so I don't have a position in it, so that takes away from the bias. But like I feel like, yeah, yeah, removing my bias. I was thinking, you know, this might be a double top. You know, I guess being more cautious than biased, I guess I'd say. But you know, maybe that's not the case. It is putting in, you know, higher lows. But if we do look at the price, this is a higher high, and then looking at the RSI relative to that, it's a lower high. Not by a huge amount, but yeah. So this on this day. It was 63.41 on this day, 67.2. And so the RSI is going lower while the highs in the RSI are getting lower. The highs in the stock price are getting higher. And so that's bearish divergence. Although I guess you could argue that the lows are getting higher. And actually, yeah, the RSI, the lows are getting higher, so there's no divergence there. So there's no bullish divergence. So yeah, I'd see this as being potentially a double top, you know, because it's like on this day you get the high of what price is that? $7.45. Then you get a retrace, and we could actually see maybe there's an interesting level that it retraced to. So retrace to the 618, and then from there, you know, keeps going up, and then attempts to get, you know, it gets a close above the open from this day, so looking pretty good, but it just gets a wick higher, and then it can't get any closes above this high, 745. So it doesn't look too strong. Also, let's see, as price has been going up, you know, if you just look at this generally, and I'm not the best at volume analysis, but, you know, volume's higher here, much higher here, fading as price is going up. So that also suggests weakness. So, yeah, I mean, while this break looks good, I mean, if this is, you know, to be something to hold on to and not to be cautious with, it might pull back to maybe this downtrend or either of these downtrends as kind of like this downtrend. It wouldn't be like a retrace to the scene of the crime, because that would be this downtrend here. But, you know, maybe it doesn't retrace to that. If it does, that would be coming to a lower low. So I don't think that'd be that great. But I feel like this is probably going to pull back some if it does rally, if this is a breakout and it's starting to look really bullish. But just seeing what's going on with the volume, it's like this little break here, lots of volume, but then it just can't hold that. And the volume's fading, so I think price will probably come down. Whether that's for a dip buying opportunity or, you know, to run away from it, I'm not sure. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on that one. Hopefully it's helpful. But, you know, but also I should say too that, you know, with what's going on with GameStop right now, Roaring Kitty coming back and stuff, maybe there's just going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on, unpredictable stuff. Maybe, you know, this is going to take off. So I just want to say I could be wrong, but I feel like this doesn't look so great. And hey, yeah, so I'm caught up on I'm just checking the live chat. I will add FUBO. I'm eyeing the gap fill retest. So yeah, I'll throw that up here. I just got a few more to go over first, and I'm actually going to take some off this list because they weren't requested, or I don't think they were requested necessarily. I just said I'd throw them up here. So yeah, I don't know why Snap's up here, to be honest. Okay, so, and the reason why I'm deleting some of them, I don't even know if you could see that I'm deleting them, is because Ed blocks the bottom where there's a part where I can add, and I can actually move Ed for a second. You can see there's that little add button there. So it's much easier for me to add tickers from that. So I will add, let's see, FUBO. Cool. All right, and so the next one on the list, Let's see, Mullen, I've done that. And so more money. I'm not sure what you want me to look at with NCT, but I'm happy to do it. And so the next one, LIDR. Is this a LIDR company? I'm curious. Yep, I assume so. For vehicles. So as far as LIDR, ooh, I might do a comparison with laser just to see. That's one I hold. And yeah, so just curious. So let's see. Gap up looks pretty good. Where did it close though? Is there some significance to that level? Let's see. So I'm going to try to draw some trend lines that probably aren't going to be that useful, but maybe there's something. And so I want that to be lower from over here. Yeah, maybe I'm taking too many steps back to look at this. Look at it a little bit closer. Let's see. I guess this is probably a little wishy-washy, but and I'm curious about the 1 for 30. All right. So here the low was $1.55.7. So gonna be a little bit off. And then to here. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious, or maybe from the lows here. Yeah, I don't know if that's significant at all, but just trying to get something that might make sense with that level. I mean, from this move, I could see a pullback to like right around here, or like where this, so basically you have kind of like a triple top with this wick piercing through it, and this one going through in the top here. And from the bottom here, so like 92 cents. I wish it'd just match perfectly. Going up to the high of $3.23 approximately. Basically returned to the 786, but then actually it didn't return to the 786. It launched, so it's right here now. With price up there. Yeah, let's see. Throw up the volume profile. There's not much to look at. But yeah, I mean, what I see is the high over here. Above that, so I think that's good. It would be nice to see some consolidation above like 250. And if that's the case, that could definitely be a bull flag and it's going to continue higher. But with such a volatile move, yeah, wow, actually, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Up 115% on the day. That's pretty remarkable. I didn't realize it was that big of a percentage move. I'm not too great at knowing how to handle squeezes and stuff like this. And I am, not invested in this company, so it's tough to say. But I mean, if we do look at, this volume shelf, doesn't really provide that much information, but it does show there's a lot of consolidation down here, and price wasn't able to close above that. So that'd be like getting up to $3 a share. So if it can hang out above 250 and get above $3, I think that'd be excellent. But I could definitely see it pulling back to $2 or $1.86, somewhere around there, finding support there, and maybe continuing higher after that. And I guess, yeah, one thing I can do with the retracement is just doing it approximate. See, yeah, the 618 is right around that level that I had drawn, so I could see price potentially coming down to there before, going up for the next run up. But yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. And I will add this to the DGen Ed list. Remove that so there's some more space. I'll move on to the next one. And NVAX, so definitely I'll cover that. Which It's going to be mind-blowing. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so I got a message from, I'm pretty sure it's Ricardo, that he sold this at, yeah, so like the high was $11. I think he sold it at like 1060. I'm not sure. I remember responding to him like maybe he sold it at 1080, either 20 or 40 cents from the top. So pretty remarkable. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I have no idea what to do with this because it's, gone up so much and then pulled back. And so let's see. From this, though, maybe we could do some extensions to see where they take us. And so from here. So yeah, maybe those are important levels. I could see it pulling back to like $7.50 or $7.40. Looking at the volume profile. Yeah, and that does correspond with like this bit of a shelf there. It's taking a step back. Yeah, so I think price, since it, went up a lot, but I think it's pulled back on the day. So I could see it pulling back to 740 and then maybe reestablishing footing and then continuing higher. But I have no idea. This is a pretty crazy one. And so, and like if one was holding down here, and you're one you, me, whoever, one is up 100%, might be a good idea to take half off the table if you do want to hold on to it. Otherwise, like 100% swing's pretty excellent, but if you take half off the table, then that gives you that half to buy back at a lower price if you want to, or just forget about it and there's no risk in losing money on it, and you can hold whether it pulls back or goes back up to the hundreds. Then you can just hold on to that and not sweat it. So I feel like that's kind of a nice strategy. Just playing with house money then. So yeah, after 100% move, that's pretty nice. I wish I was in it, but I'm not. I wish I was previously in it. I'd be happy to take the 100% profit. But yeah, and I guess out of curiosity, Novavax Sanofi partnership revitalizes my magnum opus. Bank of America Securities upgrades Novavax. And that's, oh man, I don't like when it does this. So they have a price target of like $16 to $40 basically. And so, yeah, I mean, this could just be the start. But I do think that, yeah, it might be pulling back to find itself some support here before continuing. So maybe good to not chase and wait and see if it pulls back. And the next one on the list, I will look at Hey Jay. I apologize if I don't say hey when I'm reading your guys' chats. But yes, TMF. And so I have not looked at this in a long time, but I did draw this line probably around, I don't know, this time frame. So in October, I don't know. Seems like it was a pretty interesting level because we're back at it. And I guess we've kind of bounced at it approximately. And so I'm actually going to delete some of this stuff, these measured box, and I'll leave. Both of those levels are probably important. But one thing I can do is Fibonacci retracement just to get an idea. Bouncing off of the 786, also coinciding with this downtrend, so that looks pretty good, but it did get rejected from the 618. So maybe that's not so great, but it has moved up and is consolidated a little bit, even though it's kind of steep. But potentially maybe that's a bull flag. And let's see, what was I thinking about doing? Drawing a trend line coming from up here down. So I think this is like a pretty important level that I need to break. It's a pretty steep, like falling wedge. But this is, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is kind of like the 5th time getting up there. Maybe it doesn't get to that level. Maybe it pulls back and then finds, the little bit of consolidation here as support before making another attempt up. And so looking at the volume profile, yeah, there's this little lip here corresponding with this consolidation. And so that might be support if it does pull back a little bit, maybe to like 45.50, maybe 45. But, it also could pull back, test the bottom of this wedge. And that could also be forming a double bottom right around really like $38 to $39, maybe getting down to like $37.78 was the low over here. Could be forming a double bottom while retesting the bottom of this wedge. And then maybe from that, yeah, because it looks like this is kind of like bumping into levels from the Fibonacci retracement. And also, this was resistance over here. And so it's kind of like struggling to get above that, but it does look like it is above that previous high, or actually it's a little bit lower. But yeah, it seems like there's kind of a confluence of levels up here that might be acting as resistance. And so if it were to pull back and retest this downtrend as support, that would also be coinciding with a double bottom, finding support there. And so maybe that could be, a really nice bottom, $37.50 to $39. But yeah, I think that this could definitely have a lot of upside. And especially if it's getting ready to break out, but it doesn't really look like it is. I drew this line kind of roughly, but it's not even at that line, and it looks like it's getting a little bit weaker. So I would think that, yeah, it'd form a double bottom range between like 39 to 37.50. So hopefully that was helpful. And I think I previously had this on an index watch list, but I'm just going to put it on the DGen Ed list. And so the next one I think is FUBO. I think that's right. And so here, and I'm going to delete Luminarcs. Nobody requested. Excuse me. John is saying GameStop is up 10% in Robinhood overnight trading. Yeah, I'm really curious to see. I put out the video on GameStop thinking that it looks like it's putting in a topping tail, so it might be retracing a little bit, maybe over the next week. But just what's been happening on Fridays the past couple weeks been pretty remarkable. And Roaring Kitty is back and active on Twitter. Just had his first post in like 3 years. So yeah, I feel like there's some stuff happening. I think that it's going to be a pretty exciting month. So just the beginning, the second beginning, I guess. But yeah, FUBO. I haven't looked at this in a while, but I have looked at it. As you can see, these lines from back in 2020 to 2022. This is the beginning of me doing technical analysis and stuff. I'm just going to delete these if I can. Yep. So it's pretty neat. That's what I did during the pandemic. Let's see. All right. So it does look like it could be at support right around it because there's this consolidation over here. And so, like the tops of those candles, you'd think there might be some support found around there because there were buyers at this price range before. There might be buyers at the price range again. I'm surprised that the price is actually so low. I recall it being a more expensive stock, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, really just like right around the current price. That seems like there could be some nice support there. And yeah, this little shelf corresponds with that. Maybe that's $1.16, $1. And I'm just going to take a step back just because I'm curious about how, yeah, wow. Yeah, like I was looking at it over here when it was $30 a share, 62. And so, yeah, I could see it potentially finding support, although since it has had this pretty big red move, very bearish engulfing candle, having engulfed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 candles completely. And so this looks like, big moves to the downside followed by consolidation. This could be a bear flag. But so like, I guess with that being said, hopefully there is a bounce. I could see it maybe bumping its head around like $1.50 as there is this consolidation over here. I think that would start to be resistance $1.45. So hopefully price is able to, basically move up to the base of all of this trading over here and then pull back to the tops of these candles here. And so that would then act as support. And so that's like maybe a move up to $1.50 and a pull back to like $1.40. And just thinking about if I do a retracement from here, so this is like with the assumption that the bottom's in, I need to delete some of those levels. Let's see. I don't need all these extensions. Yeah, I don't know that this provides too much insight, but maybe like going up to the 618, $1.51, and then pulling back to like the 382, right around $1.40. Finding that as support before going higher. Also pretty cool too that, there's a little bit of a volume shelf here, but there's a more pronounced one here, kind of like a roof. So price could be going up to that 618, then pulling back to the 382, finding support there, and then launch to break higher than the 618, maybe finding support the 786 with at the top of the shelf here. So yeah, pretty cool chart, but it does look generally to be bearish, but maybe it has found a bottom, and I do think that 128 current price basically, and really that's just an arbitrary number kind of based on the highs over here, so maybe there is some support there. But if it closes below, any closes below $1, and definitely below 96 cents, the low over here, I think it'd start looking pretty bad. But yeah, I don't think I've covered FUBO since starting the channel, so I'll add that on there. All right, and what is next? Hey Ben, what's up? And so I've got a few more requests up here. WS, are you saying that FUBO's heavily shorted? I could see that. And I will pull up. I'm going to get my fingers in the right place. TVGN. Tevogen Bio. And then other requests. Let's see. Cool. And yeah, and John mentioned GameStop, so I'll cover them after. Just, I guess, going over, excitement. And I can pull it up on my phone. I can't pull it up on the chart here, but just see what it's trading at on Robinhood. And so, WS saying, if they win the lawsuit, let's see if the merger happens, John. And so that's talking about... I guess are you guys talking about GameStop lawsuit and stuff? And so FUBO is presently trading below all moving averages on a daily chart. So I can pull up FUBO again and just add the averages. I don't tend to use them too much just because I feel like, they're kind of like lagging indicators. But yeah, I think I've got some over here. Moving averages. Why don't I have them more easily accessible? I just want the regular moving average. Okay, and this is the 21 day. And so can add some to this, can do the 50 and the 200. And so, yeah, well, what I could see is if there was a move to the upside, then the 21 could go above the 50, and maybe that would be a sign that there's some momentum, but it doesn't, yeah, seems like it's fading. This one served as support over here. Yeah, it looks like all of these are just acting as resistance right now, so, yeah. I don't remove the moving averages because they tend to get things cluttered. So NVAX is short, so you think that's coming down? Yeah, I had just pulled that up, and I think that it looks like there's a level that it could be returning to, like $7.43. If not, pulling back to fill this gap at like $6. So it's a nice swing, but now it's risky, yeah, because it's like up 100% on the day, but taking the measurement from the base here, when it started, it was up in total about 140%. But then if somebody had bought the top, currently down 20% basically. So yeah, risky. And so the next one, TVGN. Sorry for getting distracted. Yeah, so for me, it's like I find that if there's not much history in a stock, it's kind of tough to know how low it can go. And this seems like, I don't know, it's like it's come down a lot, so you could argue this is a bear flag, but it has like held this level for quite some time. So, what was the low on the first? 93 cents. I wouldn't want to see it close below 93 cents. But yeah, and then also too, we can maybe think about this like with, I don't want that there. Can draw a downtrend. I'll probably adjust this a little bit, but yeah, just from like the close there to the open here, price has gotten out of that, but it could just, it might not be that significant because it's not really moving out with too much volume or anything. Volume has gone up a little bit. Oh shit. Oh, oops. I don't know if I'm not supposed to say that word. But yeah, I need to adjust the time frame because it's up 52% in the after hours. I'm an idiot. And there might be an ad popping up in just a second, but I'm going to adjust the time frame. And so we can see this on the hourly time frame. So yeah, I'm an idiot, but I only really look at the daily chart. So, but yeah, I take a step back. I was saying that it looks like it might be breaking out from this, but I wasn't too bullish on it or anything. I wasn't expecting this to happen, but so that looks pretty cool. Does seem like, there's this consolidation over here. So maybe that's something. But if it's up 52%, what's this on? Secures up to $50 million in financing. One thing, though, that I could see happening, and I don't know if this company is known for doing this, but if their stock rallies a bunch and they're trying to secure money for financing, they could sell some shares. Although, this is up 50% to like $1.60. That's actually, it was just so cheap down here that it went up 50 cents. So it's not too crazy. But the market cap, 160 million as of the close on Friday. And so really, yeah, prices just come up to like right here. There's probably not anything on the volume profile, just a little bit here. But I see that, you got this big red candle coming down, 43% on the day, so it's April 25th. But there's a little bit of consolidation just before that. And so I feel like that's going to be some resistance, and that's exactly where price is at. That's basically what I, was saying looking on the hourly chart, that this consolidation there might be resistance. And, what could be forming maybe is, I don't look at stuff like this on this time frame, but maybe there's a shoulder here. Actually, no, because this wick's below the head here. I'm thinking an inverse head and shoulders pattern maybe, but that's invalidated by this being lower than the head. But yeah, I would think 50% is a good swing, and it's just like at this point pretty risky. But yeah, it depends on what's going on. Because it's such a small cap company that let's see. And so I'm just going to catch up on these comments. The RSI FUBO is presently 32 on the weekly chart. So pull up FUBO again. Might just kind of go back and forth. The RSI. So currently it's 40.20, but on the weekly, 31.76. Yes, 32. Let's see. So looking at this on the weekly, we're seeing higher lows in the stock price, and the RSI is starting to get lower. So that could be hidden bullish divergence, but what you'd want to see is some volume coming in and the RSI turning around. And so for that to be the bottom, it's a higher low, and here, at least relative to these lows, higher low in the price, that's actually about flat relative to this. Yeah, that's kind of tough. Just need to see some volume stepping into it. But yeah, I think that $1.28, I think it's holding a level, but it might just end up breaking below it. If that's the case, I think it'll probably go below 96 cents. But yeah, I think that there's still hope with it holding this. It's not necessarily bearish consolidation or anything, and you do have, let's see, if you have the stock price and volume going in the same direction, whether that's up or down, that's, I think, suggesting bullish movement. I might have this wrong, but when price is coming down and volume starts going up, no, that's actually, I'm going to just pull this up here. Volume price relationship. I don't want to resume browsing. Let's see. So for this, price is going down, and so price is going down. Also, let's see. Price is flat, so I don't know over the course of, I don't know what I'm referring to. Really, just that volume's gone up here, and so if volume's gone up and price is going down, that does suggest that the downtrend supported by volume looks for a short entries. So, but yeah, it's holding, but it did go down on, so I don't know, it seems risky, but maybe there's some hope around $1.28. I'm pretty much just going to say the same thing over and over if I keep going over the same stock. And so, I'm 50% on TVGN in the after hours. On the weekly, though, that doesn't look so great, but that's, like $1.50 would be like right around where the cursor is. So if that's like the next week. So maybe it's broken out of this, pretty big downtrend. So if we can see a close for the week above $1.50, I think that'd be really good. But with it just being after hours, after hours, light volume, especially low cap stock, low market cap, 162 million. I don't think it's necessarily that significant. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Congrats to anyone holding that. But for me, I'm always cautious of a pullback after a move like that, especially because I don't know anything about TVGN. So, but I'm gonna make sure that's on the DGen Ed list. Yeah, a lot. Are you talking about a lot of the biotech stocks? Yeah, because they either go to the moon or they go to zero. But yeah, and then so what other? I think GameStop was the next one. I can just go over that a little bit. And I'm probably just going to pull it up on my phone because after hours trading, or I don't know what it's called, nighttime trading, doesn't exist on Webull, but on Robinhood. Yeah, and Webull also recently started something where you can do like naked shorting or something. So let's see, GameStop. Yeah, it's up 8% in the overnight trading. So, yeah, I think that we're going to see some craziness in the market, some things going up pretty high. But the thing that I pointed out in the video, and this is really just stuff that I've learned from watching Gareth Soloway talk about stuff, and so like a topping tail, if you just see this pattern generally, it's not necessarily a topping signal, but because it's been a while since GameStop rallied up this high and is potentially forming like a double top over here, since there's this, lots of trading getting up to 2020 and then a pullback, a close below $18, and let's see, this 236 level, that's potentially bearish, it's potentially a topping signal. And so what I think is that price could be pulling back to 1628, finding some support here with this consolidation. Now is acting as support, and then launch up, continue higher like on Friday, because Fridays have been pretty crazy, Thursdays and Fridays, or potentially pulling back to 15. And so I'm not saying that's like make money on the way down, but that if it does pull back, don't be scared. Those could be great opportunities. Because I feel like, yeah, there's always that like panic if something's coming down. Oh, it might go a little bit lower. But I think that it could be finding support around $16, around $15. And yeah, but also I don't think I mentioned this in the video, but the 786, interestingly, does correspond with the tops over here. That's at $12. I don't think it's going back that low. I think that there's too much going on with it right now. Yeah, like... I'm going to remove my drawings just so we can get kind of a clear picture. But let's see, like, the volume. So we've seen a good amount of volume here, pretty big move up, but then that retraced. And so over here, not as much volume traded, hasn't gone up as much. Yeah, and also, yeah, the RSI 7169, but... throwing up the drawings again. Got this downtrend that's been tested multiple times, broken out of it, retested as support, but then pulls back, testing this level, and then now going higher. So yeah, I think it looks like we're back in business, And let's see. Just catching up on the live chat. What do I think about Tor? Hey, Ricardo, congrats. Everybody throw some applause in the chat for Ricardo. He had a nice swing on Novavax. So congrats. That's what it's all about. And don't look at the chart ever again. Let's see. So I was just going over GameStop. I'll delete that. And I will add, let's see. What was I just saying? Tor, I'll add them, and then PLTR and SoFi. Yeah, I've been wanting to do. I think I did just recently do a Palantir video. I'm never. That's something so I worked all weekend. What I do usually on either Fridays or Saturdays is I go over like kind of like my plans for the week, things I want to dip by. Palantir is on that list, so I'll gladly go over that. But I'm first going to start with Tor, just going over your requests in order. And so let's see Tor here. All right. So I think that this could be at, I would imagine, pretty notable support. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to draw horizontal lines, so nothing too fancy. But yeah, I mean, I guess, I could adjust it a little bit, but it's like consolidation over here with this little break below. And wow, it's like 84 cents. What's going on over here? Yeah, so like I can just draw this from like over here, just being approximate. I can just keep going back in time. Wow. So low over here, 70 cents, a little too low. But yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna just move this to kind of about where I want it to be. But yeah, I mean, it does look like I'm gonna lock it into place so it just doesn't move, even though it's just kind of, man, this level. Just going back in time. Yeah. Lots of history with like 84 cents. Maybe this is, man, maybe I'm getting too greedy going back in time with this. But yeah, so, but actually, yeah. So, yeah, price starts, consolidating around that level. It gets this like bounce of it, goes up, tests it here, double bottom, goes up, breaks a little bit, then breaks through, goes up, tests it, then resistance here, breaks above. This is a nice example of a retrace to the scene of the crime. So you got this, level that I drawn back in history, and then you get a break above it, and then price pulls back, retracing to the scene of the crime before rallying up. Just out of curiosity, how high does this go? Almost 200% up to here, 240%. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice little move there. And continuing forward into the future, more support here, resistance, and now we're at that level again. So yeah, I think that like 84 cents, 85, whatever it is, approximate, is a pretty important level. If I draw a retracement from here, 59 cents to the tops here, this was 1.01. Oh man, right around there. It's a little off, but it's a fraction of a penny off. It looks like it's pulled back to the 382, and this also does, I mean, you look at this, move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation. Also, if I throw up the volume profile, I guess there's not so much there, but if it does break lower, the 50% at like 80 cents seems pretty significant, and the 786 at like 68 cents. But I feel like this is probably going to continue higher, but I could be awfully wrong about that. But I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, this is a neat chart. And I will add that to the DGen ed list. And I have been streaming for a little over an hour now. And so I probably won't be able to do a 2-hour stream because I'm pretty tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. And actually, funny story, I guess. Last night I came home from work and it's like, well, I want to go for a little walk, enjoy the weather before, spending the night recording stuff, putting out videos. But it's like, well, I'll just record a couple videos. So I recorded the plug video and I recorded the Blink video, and it's like, okay, I'll just edit them when I come back from the walk. I come back from the walk, didn't record the sound, so I had to re-record them. So that kind of sucks. So I was up late because it's like I almost gave up and just like, whatever, I'll catch up on videos Monday and Tuesday. But no, I put those out. So yeah, I'm a little sleep deprived, so I don't know. I'll make 2 hours. But let's see. I just went over Tor, and so I will go over Palantir. And so, let's see. This is on. Cool. I can delete that. And then Palantir. So for me, and I exchanged with this guy. I don't know what his handle is. It's I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his handle is like volatility or something like that. But I was chatting with him about Palantir, and I had actually, I think I had an order like for this pullback. Let's see, what was this pullback? The low here, 229. I think I had an order at like 220 or something, or maybe, yeah, it was either this pullback or one of these pullbacks, and I missed it by just a few cents. It was probably just for 1 or 2 shares, so nothing crazy. And I wasn't holding at the time, but I was just, anticipating a pullback to that level, didn't get filled. And so I was chatting with this guy, just thinking, right now, I need to kind of figure out what my strategy is. And I actually wanted to put out a video on Palantir over the weekend. But maybe I'll probably do that tomorrow, or, at some point. But, I just had an order for, 1 share at 1950, just not going too crazy, but thinking price might be pulling back to this yellow uptrend. I made basically going over all of this. That's the base of this channel. Went over this in the last video I put out on Palantir. And that video made me think, hey, I think it's probably going to bounce at 1950. I think it could come down to around 18 bucks, but I think before then it will bounce. And maybe it never comes back to 18 bucks because there are other gaps to the downside, like this to 15 bucks, may never get filled. And so, but then I was thinking, on that last time, my order didn't get filled. So if I'm placing an order at 950, maybe I want to do it at 955. But then this guy I was chatting with was mentioning, well, yeah, like 1950, but, maybe it finds support at 20. And so what I think I might do is stagger a few orders, thinking maybe one at 250, one at 255, one at 269, 2050, 2055, 2069, because why not? And then maybe, I should say 19. Dang it. Sorry, 19. All of those numbers, but 1950, 1955, 1969. And then, initially at 20 in case it doesn't go to any of those levels. And then that would get an average pretty close to 1950, and I could see a bounce. And I'd have more than 1 share so I could trim. And, I just don't want to spread myself too thin or go too heavy in case I'm wrong. Just a, fun, exercise, but, like leveling up paper trading, But yeah, so I feel like this is probably going to bounce around 1950, but it may not get exactly to that level. So I want to pick up some because I feel pretty confident it's going to bounce at 1950. But yeah, if we look at the volume profile though, yeah, and even right around here, that's pretty cool. Volume, I was thinking because there's this gap here, there would probably not be much support around there. But because of the consolidation over here, it does look like we have this nice little volume shelf, corresponding with sideways consolidation here around the top. And yeah, so I feel like 1950 to 1920, there will be a nice bounce, getting up to at least, like around 22 bucks. It does seem like, well, I don't know, it's lower highs, lower highs. If this does go lower and the RSI stays above 30, which corresponds with the lows over here, if the RSI stays above 30 but price drops below 2041, then that's putting in lower lows in the price, higher lows in the RSI. That's bullish divergence, and that could correspond with a bounce around 1950. So that's what I'm thinking, and I want to make sure and it's in the levels that I was mentioning. For me, it's probably just 1 share at each level, so nothing crazy at all. But yeah, I think that 1950, 220, good levels to accumulate, whether that's but I don't think necessarily for long term. I feel like now is kind of a risky time to be holding stuff long term, but it depends on your conviction. I really believe in Palantir, so I always hate it when I sell it. But I did sell, I think I had, right around the earnings, I think I had one share and picked up another one on its way up. And then I sold, I think one of them maybe around here, and the other one I think I sold around maybe $25. I'm not sure. I didn't hold all the way to the top. Probably around $25. But I like Palantir. Yeah, if Palantir goes to 18, I agree, loading the boat down there. And also, too, if it does come to that level, and I feel like it will have a hard time doing it just because there are so many levels between the current price and 18. But if it does get to that level, I feel like so many people would just be panicking, talking trash about Palantir, all of this stuff. And when that's what the sentiment is, like the broad community sentiment, that's when you buy. And that's kind of what happened with Tesla. A lot of people were not so excited about it, but that ended up being the bottom right around. There's a pivot level. I swung some. I think it was just 2 shares, made $40. Could have made like $100, but yeah, I was happy with it. And I'm not looking at the chart because I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. But yeah, so there's Palantir for you. And now I will switch over to SoFi. And yeah, so with this, I feel like it's going to $6. And for me, I'm not touching it until it goes to $6 or $6.05 really. I like SoFi. I've made some money swinging it in the past. Not a ton, but I've had a nice time with it. I enjoyed that. The community seems very passionate. They were trashing me for saying it was going to go down following earnings. And, I ended up being right. They said, I'm crazy for thinking it'd go to 6, but it's like, well, I don't think it's going to go straight to 6. But I thought it'd come down to 7. And it's quite possible in 5 seconds or so there might be an ad, but I'm not going to talk too fast, so don't worry. But yeah, so it does look like, I've gone over this before, that there is this head and shoulders pattern. And so from that pattern, take a measurement from actually I already have the measurement up here. So this vertical line here is just a measurement from the top of the head to that neckline. And I believe I actually had it lined up exactly. I fine-tuned it to be precise, and that actually goes down to $6 a share exactly. And that plus the 1618 at 614 plus this, I believe, approximate gap fill at 605. So, the high here was 605, but the close was 603, so that's more of a proper gap fill. So yeah, I just feel like it's eventually going to fill this, and even to the downside, there's another one around 550. But I think that if it does come down to $6, you've got the 1618, you've got this yellow uptrend, and this measured move, if there's any significant support corresponding to that. I think that there would be a bounce following $6, and I think that $6 could be a great entry level. And even if it does pull back to 550 and your average is $6, that's less than 10% to the downside. Get your average down. No need to panic. So I think that waiting for 6, especially, it closed the week below $7 a share. I just got to adjust the axis here so see this a little better. But yeah, it did bounce, consolidating, but it doesn't seem like, there's no volume in it. The highest volume was when it was coming down, and then it's just, people are scared of it. Retail's fleeted. So I think that SoFi will be a great, great buy around $6, maybe even $5.50. And so that's what I'm waiting for. And I found that, like in making these videos, I cover a lot of stocks that I'm pretty interested in but don't have positions in. And then through doing that, it's like, oh, well, I'm interested in all of these stocks, but this one seems like it's, I haven't been involved in any of them for a while, but it's come to that level that I'm interested in. And So yeah, so I think it's really nice to do that, to not be impatient. And one of the stocks, I think, Ben, I don't know if you requested Blink. I'll go over Blink in just a second. Yeah, so I'll add it up here. But I think that Blink could offer, just, I wasn't thinking about establishing a position, but given that the chart didn't do exactly what I thought it would, but it looks like it's doing something more bullish, but with a retracement potential, that if it does retrace, that would be a great, great dip buying opportunity. And so I'm just going to catch up on the chat just to see what you guys are saying. Some exchange. SoFi has been frozen at 7 for sure. If Palantir goes to 18, I'm loading the boat. Yep, so I saw that. And SoFi has been frozen at 7. Yeah, and so I feel like that's just, it's the volume here. Yeah, I don't know. This is a lower high, but the RSI, it's pretty close to flat. So I don't know. That would be hidden bearish divergence. We've already seen a down move. But yeah, I mean, you could argue that maybe this is bullish consolidation with following up move consolidation, or you could argue, this is a down move followed by consolidation, that it's bearish. But really, I mean, it's been closing. Let's see. On Thursday, it closed at 7:06, so yay. But like all of these, yeah, so this is one thing that I think maybe I would argue is not so great looking. So you get this big down move, and then you get a bullish engulfing candle on the first. So hey, we pulled back, but we got a bullish engulfing candle, so that looks good, even though there's this big wick to the upside, which does suggest, some weakness. And then so the high for that day was 718. So I'll just put a line there. And so I'll just ask you a question. Have we been able to get any closes above 718? No. So that doesn't look so great. That 718 seems like a pretty important level for us to be closing above. We got close, closing at a price of 716 on Monday. Was that Monday? May 6th? Yep, that was Monday. But then it's just kind of faded. So I think getting a close above 718 would be really good. But with that, not being able to get closes above it, we have been putting in these higher wicks. So this one up to 724, this one up to 727. So really, I mean, we need to be getting closes above these levels. And we're not seeing that. So I think it looks, I feel like I'm going to be happy I waited for 6. And I will not say I told you so, but I feel like, I got some people were very passionate and insisting that I was wrong, that it would not be coming down following earnings. And that's actually, check the comment section of videos. If people seem like they're leaning way too far one way or the other, the opposite's more likely to happen. And people are very passionate about SoFi going up. So, I think $6 would be great. A great discount. I shouldn't say I think it'd be great, but 6 to 550. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And so yeah, I see some comments. I'm just gonna delete this and then focus on the comments. I think Blink was next, so I'll go over that chart. And so, sorry, my eyes are a little dry. So yeah, we'll go over Blink, and so. Don't you think, I guess, so Ricardo, you're asking about SoFi, so I'll pull that back up here, sorry. I didn't address the question. 750. I think that getting up to 750 will be pretty tough. Because it looks like there's this like wall here. 750 is at the top of that. If it could get up to 750 and close, I would say, it's not going to 6, at least not for a while. And I think that'd be looking pretty strong. But I don't know what WS thinks about SoFi reaching 750. And then, yeah, I'm just going to catch up on the other comments because I feel like you guys are mentioning Roaring Kitty. So let's see. I'm going to delete this. Throw up Robinhood because I know you guys mentioned that. And I will go over Blink. And GME is on the move. It's over 1950 right now. I can't see it on Webull, the price action, but also though too, you know, I feel like, yeah, 19, 20, just hit 20 on the Robinhood app, which is like, it's so cringe. It's up almost 14.5%. So yeah, we are back in business, guys. But, you know, the market's not open, and so this is low volume, so it could be, you know, a trap. So all I will say is be careful. I think there could be a pullback with GameStop. That would be a great buying opportunity. But with what's going on with Roaring Kitty coming back to life, maybe it could. I have no idea what could be happening. It could definitely be going a lot higher. 40, who knows? And so, yeah, MU looks good long term, so I'll add that up here before I go over to Blink. An RSI analysis of Blink. Cool, yeah, I'll look at that. I'll remove the volume. And so, let's see. Take a step back. So this is, I'm just looking at like this high in the RSI over here from November 15th, 76. RSI over here was 71.55. So it's still lower, so there's no, that would be bearish divergence or hidden bearish divergence. Not seeing that up here as far as the RSI goes. I mean, let's see. Yeah, I feel like this is really like just the time frame that is important right now, going back to like the end of October. Yeah, I don't know what to say about the RSI, but I just think that generally, like, there's this downtrend here that I've drawn. It looks like it's broken out. But the way that it's broken out, it's pulled back and consolidating. I think that this is probably going to, like, I mean, at least for me, you know, I feel pretty convinced it's going to come down to here, but I've definitely been wrong about this broader pattern being bearish. But, you know, around this earnings call, I was right about this being a fake out and that it would pull back, but I didn't expect it to go down that fast. I bought one put, made $1, could have made a lot more, but I don't like making money on things going down. Yeah, Roaring Kitty definitely posted a pic of a gamer sitting back and then leaning forward, like the game is on. Things are getting more intense. So, and we're definitely seeing that. It's going to be a wild week. It's going to be a wild summer. Yeah. And so based on MACD, I'll pull that up. That always throws, like I always have like the RSI right above Ed's head. Whenever I look at the MACD, it throws it off. So I'll have to try to remember to put it on. Okay, so yeah, with the MACD, so I don't do this kind of analysis, but you always want to see it like switching from one way to the other. And so like this big rally came about in the middle of that red bit when it was starting to switch to green. And so, and then this rally, you know, in the middle of red, starting to switch to green. And yeah, so green marked the top. And so over here, you know, green marked the top here. So I feel like what we need to see is a pullback. So we see a little bit of red, and then that little bit of red could mark what would be a pretty massive move. Because I mean, like, look at this. This is just a tiny bit of red here. This this is less red, but this is just a tiny bit. And then a massive move. And actually, there's a little bit of a move and then a pullback. And so you see this rise up and then pull back. And so it's still green and then it rallied up a lot. And so here, we've seen this go up. Now a pullback. And I feel like, maybe this is the bottom. It could be tapering and then to go back up. So maybe that's the dip buying opportunity right now at 282. But yeah, if I was holding this and I wanted to get my average down before a potential breakout, I could see this as being a good level in case it doesn't pull back to 250, 260. But I would also want to be able to add at 250, 260. So I wouldn't want to put all of what I have on the side on right now, maybe quarter or half, and then could put the rest or, whatever at 260, 250. But since I don't have a position, and if this does take off, I'll be cheering, regardless of whether I'm holding it. If it does pull back, then to this level, then I feel like I'd at least just want to establish a position. Nothing crazy, but yeah. And let's see. Just trying to think from the moves over here, this is a pretty big. Yeah, it says red and then switch to green, but it's also like green and then it seems like it pulled back a little bit before going up higher. And so, yeah, I wish I could see GameStop's price action right now on the chart. But I can at least tell you what GameStop's price is. $20.07, $20.06. But, yeah, and so I think it'll be really interesting to see, like, when pre-market trading more properly opens, if it's above, I'm talking about GameStop, if it's above 2020, because that's this level. So, yeah. And so I think other requests, you guys were talking about Hood. I don't, yeah, so I guess maybe I skipped it, but I think I had the blink request before Hood, so I'll go over Hood real quick. Wow. What do I have drawn here? I gotta delete all this stuff. I was covering it for a while, but I was bearish, incorrect, and people didn't like it. But what I could see is it pulling back to this uptrend. Oh, wow, and actually... Wow, I had a pretty interesting discussion with somebody about Hood, and I had assumed I was wrong. I'll actually pull up the exchange on Twitter if that's all right. I think that there's some valuable lessons to be learned. And so, yes, this is Roaring Kitty. Check that out. 2 hours ago. Welcome back. OMGME. All right, and so, oh yeah, and if you guys want me to stream the Alibaba earnings call and just include the English translated part, you can vote on this either on Twitter or on the channel. But I just want to scroll to this exchange. Yeah, and so that would be Tuesday before market opens. And then I will also, what I'm probably going to do on Tuesday, I think Canoo will get more views than Rumble. So I'm probably going to do the Canoo live stream earnings call live. But then after, because I'm holding Rumble and I'm curious, I'll probably later do the Rumble earnings call. And I think those are the only ones because these are my 2 days off. So, yeah. But if there are other ones you would like me to do, let me know. Let's see. I have an exchange here with, yeah, okay, so this exchange. Oh, wait, no, dang it, this is not. That's the guy, volatility. But we were exchanging about, man, Robinhood. Where's Robinhood? Yes, okay, so this is his analysis on Robinhood. And so he pointed out, this looks like this double bottom here and a potential breakout from this downtrend. And I feel like whenever there's earnings and you see like a potential breakout, it's not a breakout, it's a potential breakout. And then so I wrote to him, you're not concerned about today's volume. And so this was on May 7th. So I'm going to pull this up in the chart. May 7th being lower than the previous day, being lower than yesterday's, and its close being near bottom. Yep, so close. Actually, yeah, on the 6th, that was near bottom. Yesterday's close and its close, so yesterday's close being near bottom with a big wick up, so that's just referring to this. Couldn't get a close above 429 high. It looks kind of weak. 429 high, so I believe that would be this one. So yeah, could not get a close above that. Still have not been able to get a close above that. And I say not in it, just considering the other side. Could see a sympathy play with Bitcoin breaking higher. Valid point, but two things I considered. The volume was low across the market while they pulled back, so you got to think about volume relatively. And the spot stayed above the downtrend break while Bitcoin pulled back. Maybe it's nothing, but chart looks good. And of course, the earnings is tomorrow, which I found out after. Oops. Where did I go? What happened? What did I do? I was just about to, man, I don't know what happened. I've got to get back to that. I'm sorry, 1 second. Because not to troll him or anything, but I just want to point out that, I was right. All right, and so, yeah, I'm just going to click on this, scroll through this again. Sorry, I've got to do this, though. And so maybe it's nothing, but chart looks good. And, of course, earnings tomorrow. And so let's see. That was on the 7th that we exchanged. And so I'm just going to take a measurement from the 7th. I won't say ha. Dang, I was right. Down 10%. And then I'll do the cool emoji. But streaming and bragging to my... Yeah, so, that's my analysis on Hood. Basically, it took place on the 7th, and I was right. Yeah, so pretty crazy. This is a big bearish engulfing candle, engulfing all of these, not being able to get a close above that. So it's always key to be looking at closes and highs. Are we closing higher than them? Are we closing lower than them? Stuff like that. And so, yeah, there was just a few things in this that looked questionable. And, maybe it rockets tomorrow and then I end up being wrong. But I think that's pretty cool. I think Robinhood's going down to 15. I should write. Oh, and $15 15 looks like a good target with uptrend support. And I might actually just take a screenshot for him. Sorry if this is agonizing. Oh man, I use PCs at work, and so now I don't know how to do the shortcut keys on my computer anymore. And actually I should do it like this. And then, sorry. Oh man. You guys are seeing how poorly organized I am. Switching between all these apps. Let's see. This is how I organize my videos. Yeah, so that's fun. And so sorry for that tangent, but yeah. $15, target for Robinhood. I'm not in it. And so, MU, sorry WS, I'll look at MU. Micro, I'm short semiconductors, that's all I gotta say. And so what are you saying? Looks good long term. So I mean, let's see. Yeah, I mean, so if this is a high, it's a, I'm gonna remove the MACD. Sorry, it's distracting. It just takes up so much space. And then now this RSI thing is way above Ed's head. So I can shrink that a little bit. Shrink the volume. So it's a little more even. Hopefully that looks all right. Yeah, gap here. I mean, for me, I'm biased. I think it's going down. But if it does go higher, if it does form a higher high, I'd look for the RSI. If the RSI is not also making a higher high, that could be like a double top bearish pattern that's happening like a number of things, stock market, Bitcoin, commodities, that tops are often marked by a second high, second top that's higher, but then RSI is not higher. It's bearish divergence and it comes down. So, I mean, I could definitely see it going above 130.54. For me, I'm just, as the SOXS, as that goes down in price, I just add to it, so I'm not really too concerned. And so let's see. How about CGC? What's up, Adventurer 98? And so Horatio says, I just bought on Robinhood 5 GameStop at 1910 just to have some skin in the game, and it's hitting 2010. $5 is $5. Yeah, so I think that, with GameStop, I think it could pull back a little bit, but also I could be very surprised and not see that. But I do feel like Robinhood offering like kind of like off-exchange trading, like pre-market's not even open. And that just seems like sketchy. And with this signal here, that, I want GameStop to go up, but not letting that cloud my judgment or anything, not letting Rory and Kitty cloud my judgment or anything. I just think this looks like it's a topping signal, and I think it could be finding support at 16, 28, or 15. And so on the note of $5 is $5, $20 is $20. But yeah, but who knows? That's not bearish. That's only to say that if, buyers stepping in up here, definitely should be down at these levels cheaper. So I just think that there could be some discounts. So be ready for the sales if there are. And so I'll look at CGC. You need to find me on X. So I'll just type in my handle. So since I'm Andy and DGen_Ed is taken, and DGen Andy is taken, I'm just DGen An, DGen _AN. Yeah, and so I usually just post videos on it, but post other things. I like stuff. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm pretty much always on Twitter checking on X. And so CGC, sorry, I get distracted. CGC. It's the cannabis sector. I need to do an update on the cannabis stocks. This, doesn't look so good that it's a big red candle down 8% on the day. That's pretty crazy because it doesn't seem that big, but this is just such a big move to the upside. I think that it could be, right around support. It's above support. So I think that's good. And that's based, well, I guess it's in the middle of all this consolidation. But, like if you kind of cut this part of it out and look at the past, there's this consolidation here and price is above that. So it's respecting those levels. So I think that looks good. But it could also, this could be like a bear flag or something. And I guess, you don't want to see it like so far it's been forming higher lows. It's tapering out a little bit. But if it were to get lower than, I guess, lower than 813, if we were to see it go to $8 or to test the 786, maybe that'd not be so great. But maybe that would also be like, oh, well, it's not making higher lows. That's not looking so good, but maybe that's a great dip buying opportunity at the 786. Support over here, that consolidation. That also corresponds with, price action over here, all over here. So, yeah, I think that, I don't know. I feel like cannabis, looking at it daily, weekly, I think if you look at it monthly, I think it's going to be performing really good over the course of the year. Because, it's going to be on ballots and stuff this year, I'm sure, whether it's for medicinal purposes or for recreational or, whatever they call it. Schedule 3, I think it's going to be a good year for it. And yeah, I will, Horatio, I don't know what you said, it's 9:30. Sorry, I'm delayed responding to it. But I will definitely, so I'm going to delete some of these just to make some room. I'm not going to cover all that's up here because I'm tired. But I will pull up, and I'm actually going to do a video on them probably tomorrow on Canoo because I want to cover their earnings call because it's a popular ticker. People like the videos and stuff, and so I like to support the community, host the earnings call, and see what's going on with them. Earnings on the 14th, so that's Tuesday after hours. I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern. And this, I don't know, it's tough to say because it's not like at a, maybe if I draw this wouldn't be so bullish, but just from the lows here to the lows here, it has broken lower, but maybe it could bounce, get above that, or maybe it's getting ready to come down, maybe below $2 a share. So I don't know. I had a small position in this around the reverse split, but the one for 23, just like, why 23? At least do 25. That just weirded me out, and I missed out on a very nice rally. And what we see here, lower highs, lower highs. So, yeah, this to me, since it's below that level, here's the thing. It's below this downtrend, which might seem bearish, but it's not at that downtrend. It's not just below it. Like if it was right here, if it was at like where this red candle was, where this close was, just before earnings, I think, yeah, it just broke below that downtrend. It's likely going lower. However, that could be a fake out thing. So yeah, I don't know which way this is going to go. It'll be interesting for me to put a video together on it. I'll probably point out that uptrend, but also point out that, it's tough to predict. But 207 would be a good level to hold, $2. And so let's see. Found you and started now following. Sweet. I'll probably follow you back. Let's see. GameStop back down to 1925. Yeah, so I just think, it's like exactly like the same with, I think there's a good lesson with SoFi here. And I kind of walked back a little bit. I feel bad I didn't like dig my feet in with what I was saying. But with SoFi here, my stance before earnings, which was right here on the 29th, my stance was that I thought this was a bear flag, also a head and shoulders pattern, and that I thought price would at least be returning to the neckline at 697. Also, I had pointed out these gaps to the downside. I pointed out a number of things that stood out to me as being bearish. And also, too, I don't know that I had this yellow downtrend in that video, but from these two highs, price went up to that level. It got rejected there. That is resistance. And it's also lower than the head. If it were to have closed at or above $7.94, it hit a high of $7.90. So that does not negate the head and shoulders pattern. This head and shoulders pattern was still in play here on Friday, April 26th, giving people plenty of time over the weekend to trash talk me in the comments to say that, I'm crazy for thinking it's going down to 7 or 6 or whatever. And because I suggested, I think long-term it's going down to 6. And so, we see this and it's like, it did not close. It did not go higher than 794. And so this head and shoulders pattern is still in play. But if we look at the hourly time frame and we look at that day, this is the 26th, that Friday, we saw it go up above, closed or hit a high in the after hours of $8.22. And then in the pre-market, it hit a high of $8.47. But that was all pre-market. That's not on the, it's off the chart. And so that did not negate the pattern because it's not on here. You can't see it. This is still a head and shoulders pattern. And so what's going on with GameStop right now? I'm not bearish on it. But I think that right now it's probably FOMO buying and it's probably going to be a pullback. And I don't say that again. I am not bearish. But I just think that this is a topping signal. I mean, not only was it not able to close above $20, it wasn't able to close above $18. And 2 weeks ago, when I put out not the most recent GameStop video, but the one that I did the week before that, I hadn't put out one in a while, I had drawn this $18 level. It seemed significant to me based on it being respected here as support, some bounces around there, resistance here, and now we're struggling to close above it. I think that we could be closing Monday above $18 a share. But $20 right now in not the pre-market, but is it the overnight trading on Robhinhoo? Yeah, I feel like Robhinhoo is not a good guy. Robhinhoo does facilitate retail to be able to trade. But their interests are not with retail. Watch Dumb Money. They're trying to screw us over. So I think that the overnight trading is, hey, it's low volume and Roaring Kitty just tweeted GameStop can go higher. And so I will not be surprised if it pulls down to 15 on Wednesday. But I will also not be surprised if it closes the week above closes above $20. So yeah, buy the dips, not the rips. But if one does not have a position, establish something small, and then on pullbacks, get your average down. Because I always try to buy on pullback. So usually it's like when something rallies, it's like, man, I wish I had more because like I had buy orders down here, but it's rallying up here. But then when it starts coming down, I adjust my buy orders to be higher. So I'm just buying as it comes down. And I buy slowly. My trading's pretty boring as far as accumulating goes. And so let's see. It's fun watching you beef online. I don't really I don't know if you're talking about the comments and stuff, but yeah, people have definitely been pretty nasty to me. The channel's not big enough for that to happen that much, but I'm sure it will run before November. Are you talking about GameStop? I think that this is the beginning. I think that we are in a new cycle. I'm just going to remove my drawings in case they get screwed up. But yeah, switching us. I think that just look at the chart. This is weekly, and we have, yeah. I could extend this to back over here. I don't know how good that would be. Up here, no closes above these levels, so you could extend that back. And we've broken out of this downtrend, retested it, and then retested this. Yeah, I think that this could be at $48 by November. I think that this could, yeah. I don't know. Thinking about this stuff is just like being on a roller coaster. Can make you a little nauseous. But yeah, 85, 86 bucks with these two peaks here. The peak here, 64. I have no idea. But it's like, a beast has just awoken, and that beast is a roaring kitty. And so I don't think GameStop will be delisted. I think, as far as the EV stocks goes, I'm after Fisker and stuff. I'm much more cautious with them. Like Rivian or Tesla are probably the only ones that I would personally want to be buying, but I'm not. Unless it's like a trade, so in and out. GameStop is back up to 2020. It's going to give me a heart attack. Yeah, I think it's like, I think it was one of the crazy things too. You can look at a chart like on the minute time scale and just see all this stuff going on. But then like for me, it's like I'll look at a chart. I'm mainly just looking at the daily time frame. And I'm just like, man, I can't believe that was like however many months ago, And yeah, things take time. And let's see. Where do I see this finding resistance? If it does go higher, to be honest, $24, right around there, maybe 23. But like volume profile, yeah, starts to pick up around 22.50. So I could see that as being resistance, meaning that if it did go up that high, I think it'd be pulling back, maybe testing 20 as support. But yeah, I think that this is going to be. Oh, actually, if I look at this on the daily time frame, maybe I'd say 24. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer. I think that, the years that we've been holding, I think that we'll be excited about this. And so I'm just going to type up so I can read Ben's full comment saying, don't understand why people will be the way they have been because I work hard to give valuable insights. But for me, or like from my perspective, I'm just another trader trying to figure out how the market works, and going over charts like this really helps me a lot. Making these videos helps me a lot, and trying to not have a bias. When I have large positions and things, I definitely end up having a bias, even if it's a small position, and trying to be patient when I'm getting the levels and stuff. It's like, well, it's below my average. I can just add a little more. But when it's stocks that I don't have big positions in or don't have positions in, like Blink, I don't have a position in that. I can really just like wait for those levels. Or another one that Plug Power, I did a nice little swing trade. I bought at, I can go over what I did. And so I'm just going to delete some of these to clean up some space. I'm going to delete Hood. Who needs that? went over MU. And so, yeah, I'm just going to pull up, let's see, what was I just talking about? Plug power. Yeah, so I did this nice little trade. So somebody was calling me out on Twitter. They're very bullish plug power. And so what I did is, I was streaming their earnings call before market opened on the 9th. And I was chatting, I forget who I was chatting with. Oh yeah, well people like I'm probably overly dramatic and people are nasty to me, but people just say like and especially like people will say they've said this about Lucid and they ended up being wrong, but just like, oh, the fundamentals, this stock should be worth, 10 times what it's currently trading at. And it's like, okay, but like I'm sorry, I'm not talking about investing. I'm just talking, and I don't even necessarily, I try to trade, but I end up holding things for longer if I'm wrong, but I'm not talking about the analysis of the company. I'm talking about what the chart's telling me, or what I'm trying to understand about the chart, which is based on emotion, algorithms exploiting that emotion, fear, greed, all of that. And, so I'm just trying to read that. And so the fundamentals of a company don't matter when looking at the timescales that I'm considering, which is like weeks to months. And so, I forget where I was going with this, but something just came down, man. I don't know I don't think it was plug. I was talking about Lucid. I'll go on a tangent from what I'm talking about, telling a story, and then I get lost. SoFi, people talking about, the fundamentals are, it should be worth this. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, but I'm not talking about the fundamentals. Fundamentally, I think SoFi, I think, whatever company will be much higher price than it is now. But I'm talking about like, if you could buy it at $2.50 or you could buy it at $2, stuff like that. And so anyways, during the earnings call, I was chatting with somebody and it made me realize like, well, what's the option? What do the options look like for plug? It's trading below $2.50. I bet I could buy something that expires the following day, buy 100 shares and sell a covered call. So I bought 100 shares at $2.40. And then I sold a covered call for 12 cents. That's $12 because it's 100 shares, 12 cents times 100, $12. And I actually did that in both accounts, my Webull and my Robinhood account, because I had some cash on the side. And, and then I sold a covered call with a strike of 250, thinking that if it closes on Friday above 250, that's fine. I made $12 per each of the contracts, so $24 selling covered calls, and then I'd make $10 each if it closes above 250. And so I made so it's $44, and I've exited my position at $2.50. So I could have made $12 additionally if I was still holding it. But instead, I made $24 selling covered calls. That was just like an in and out play, and I did that. And, I could have made more money, but I would have had to sell at the high, around $2.80. And so I just did that thinking, place the order and then it executes for me. There's no emotion, whether or not it closes at 250 or higher or lower. I can't control that. And so it's just a nice in and out thing. And so somebody on Twitter on Plug was, I think he said, you kissed your sister with that mouth, selling covered calls or buying covered calls. Or selling covered calls, and selling covered calls, it's just like it was just a trade. It was just a quick thing designed to make a little bit of money, and I think that because if history repeats itself, Plug might be seeing a new low, lower than 225 this week, and if that's the case, I'd like to establish a position to hold over the course of months to see where it takes me, because I think it would be doing well. But if it doesn't go below 225, that might be the low, then I'd establish a position, wherever the price is at. because of, these vertical lines that correspond with bottoms hit in the middle of May over the past 3 years, followed by pretty big rallies. So I'm curious to see what the next rally could be. And considering, you can see it here, this massive, falling wedge, or whatever pattern you want to call this, falling wedge, I think. We've broken out, we've pulled back, we've tested these levels, and I think we could be going much higher. So that's what I'm thinking about with plug. And something similar, with blink, but I don't have a position in either. And so let's see. I was talking about CGC. Sorry for the clarification. CGC might be delisted. Yeah, sorry, I'm not the best at connecting the dots because it's even just hard for me to follow what goes on in the chat if there's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, CGC might be delisted. Let's see. Plans to reschedule. 3 things you need to know. Yeah, so I don't know too much about the company or anything. Because I haven't done a CGC earnings call. But yeah, that's always a risk. This is market cap. I mean, it's almost $1 billion, so it's not small. 2085 for GameStop. We'll see what it opens at. Yeah, 2085 is what I'm seeing, up 20% overnight. Craziness is happening. In the overnight trading, though, that's facilitated by Robhinhoo, which is potentially very, very sketchy. And so, Ricardo, I'm thankful because you've done a great job. There are so many YouTubers offer blah, blah, but not many chart guys with fundamental analysis such as you. But I have to note, all of this stuff, I'm really just learning as I go based on watching Gareth Soloway. I've never paid for any of his services, but I watch his channel, try to watch the game plan every day, and the trading the close, which is a little bit, I prefer the game plan because it's more technical, but the trading the close I think is more accessible. And that's on his channel, Verified Investing. He also has a website that he just launched, has a lot of resources on it. I haven't explored it yet, but it's just, it's just looking at the chart and trying to understand, you're not charting dollars, you're charting emotions, and that's like the psychology behind those emotions. And so I just really find that fascinating. And I also find it really fascinating when people are yelling, buy, 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 that's a top, or when they're saying, you're an idiot for thinking it's going lower, that means it's going lower. And yeah, so it's like I find it just to be a really interesting challenge and something to just be constantly getting better at. So I really enjoy it. And making these videos, charting, helps me a lot because previously I didn't have the discipline to do this until I started recording myself. And so, yeah. And Gareth Soloway spoke a lot about time counts. Yeah, so I think that's like, let's see here. You got, I'm going to guess, I haven't counted them, but I'm going to guess there are 7 red candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7. But then there's a bounce. And yeah, so I think that there's, like you could see here from the top, you have 1, 2, I guess maybe 10 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, close to it before the bounce. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with time counts. And one thing that I think is interesting, looking at this chart here, we could do potentially a measurement from the bottom here to the top and see if that predicted the high over here. Isn't that pretty cool? That is a measured move right there. That beautifully predicted the top for CGC. Just taking this little rectangle, measuring from the bottom here to the top there. And that's up about $9. And this, same, up about $9. pretty cool. That's something that he does every once in a while. And oftentimes, like, I feel like it's tough to notice right away until you see, like, oh, you know, up and down. Oh, well, this is another one, up and down. And a thing that could be valuable about this one retraced to the 618. If this is repeating, this one retraced to the 618 as well. So that could be a sign that that's the bottom. It could also not be, though. But I find that pretty compelling that that's a measured move. Just that's a very cool tool. Just these very simple things. And yeah, it's like, I feel like people's tolerance for like percentage change or for dollar move, just really interesting. But you know, I have been streaming for more than 2 hours. I didn't go over all the tickers on the list, but it's been fun chatting with you guys and kind of discussing stuff and exploring exchanges on X. And let's see what GameStop is at right now. I'm just going to check Robinhood to see that. $20.88. But this is in the overnight 24-hour market that is available on Robinhood, which to me makes me feel a little uneasy. But if Roaring Kitty has, you know, come out to play, then maybe, you know, it's game time. So we'll have to see. I'm excited. I'm excited to be doing the stream, and I'll be putting out a bunch of videos tomorrow, try to get a bunch out. I'll be doing the Alibaba live stream for their earnings call, and I'll just include English. And then I'll also probably be doing Canoo earnings call. And then after the fact, I'll probably do Rumble because I'm interested in that one for myself. But I won't do that one live. But anyways, you know, I'm just going to throw up this thing. I know you guys all like and subscribe. But, you know, thank you so much for hanging out. It's been fun. And always enjoy exchanging in the live chat with you guys in the comments. If I am slow to respond to the comments, I'm sorry. And if you do have a request for a video and I don't respond right away, it's probably because it's on my to-do list, and I'd rather respond to you with the video and say, you know, there you go. Then like I feel like I get caught up in talking about doing stuff and not actually doing it. So it's like, I just focus on getting it done. So if there are delays, that's why, or just because I'm busy or tired, you know, life goes on. But yeah, thanks again so much for hanging out, and I will see you guys. If you want to tune in for the Alibaba live stream, I believe that starts at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, so it's going to be pretty early. But I think that's a possibility to kind of expand the channel because Baba videos have been pretty popular. But then also, you know, getting the earnings crowd in, I think that could be really nice. And so, yeah, I should have a lot of videos out the next couple days because I'm not working. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great start to your week. I'm excited to see what GameStop opens up at and to see where the charts take us this week. I think that we're getting into a pretty frothy summer, so it's going to be fun. But yeah, take care of you guys. Good night.